up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland, joined as always by Lauren Khalil. Lauren, what's up?
Not much. I got my heated slippers on. Best holiday gift.
That's fantastic.
Purchase for myself.
And featuring unheated slippered Tommy Marquez.
No, instead of slippers, I got the real best gift for the holidays, the Jack Hawk 9000.
What is that?
Oh.
Available at Walmart. It's a Ricky Bobby reference.
Jack Hawk, all right.
I
thought you actually got, given all the work that you're doing on your property, I thought maybe that someone went to Harbor Freight and bought you some, Uber tool that you are now employing on a daily basis.
No, it was just a pocket knife I was cleaning.
Good stuff. Okay, got a lot to talk about today. We're going to do our annual top storylines that we're watching going into the year. Got some news items we want to talk about too, some things that have been just kind of trickling out over the week as we get set for the season. Before we do that, want to thank our sponsor for today, and that is Thirdzy and their Rest and Recovery Collagen. If you are not on board with Thirdzy, who the hell do you think you are, and how dare you? It is the greatest sleep support substance that you could possibly put into your body. It is not habit forming because it does not contain melatonin. It has GABA, L-theanine, magnesium in it, ingredients that are designed to help calm your central nervous system so that you get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer, and get the most out of your sleep. And then, of course, the collagen protein. And this is big for my fellow masters out there. This is why you should be taking Thirdzy before you go to sleep. It helps you rebuild more effectively when you are trying to rest. And, look, we're covered in neoprene and athletic tape. Maybe you need a little bit less of that if you're constantly on the Thirdzy and you're getting better sleep and you're recovering better. You can go to thirdzy.com. That's THIRDZY.com. Use our code TEF and you will save 20%. You'll have a nice, delicious nightcap that you can drink before you go to bed each night. And then you're going to sleep better. You're going to recover better. And you are going to overall just be a better person. So go to thirdzy.com, use the code TEF, and you will save 20%. And take part in a wonderful product made by fantastic human beings. We're so thankful that they are on board. They're really good friends, and I love their stuff, man. Say it every week. Love it. Get on board. Thirdzy.com. TEF is the code.
I have Thirdzy to thank for a very uncharacteristic scenario for me. I woke up this morning, after a couple nights of forgetting to take it. I took it last night and I woke up to my Garmin telling me I am 100% prime.
Wow.
I've never seen 100%. I didn't think it was possible.
I've never had that ever.
Sean's is always in the teens.
Mine said I got 3 hours of sleep and I'm like, that does not seem right. Cause I was in bed a lot longer than 3 hours. I was at bed at, 10:30. I woke up at 5:30. I was up intermittently in the night, but that's more than 3 hours. And I know I wasn't rolling around that. Anyway. Feel good. Feel ready to go because we got a lot to talk about today. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about our, just some headlines. Gabby McGowa is now a training think tank athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She's been in some good videos with Travis Mayer. The two of them been throwing down. It should be a good move for her too.
Yeah, I had some discussions with her in Copenhagen about it. I know she's kind of on the move as far as a home for 2026 and potentially beyond, and trying to find a good camp to go work with, and training think tank being the awesome group that they are. She was pretty stoked about it and getting to spend a lot of time out in Georgia. So.
Well, and then moving along just quickly, just getting these out of the way so we can dive into what the meat of the show here. But Pat Vellner, man, master's body, this is what happens. Torn rotator cuff. So working back from that.
Yeah.
Tommy watched that live.
Yeah, and I remember we were kind of going through the lifting event, and I looked over to Pat to see if, his next lift, and I saw it, and I saw him grab his shoulder, and you kind of he did his best. I don't know if he posted the video to kind of shrug it off a little bit and kind of work through it. So you hoped that he'd be all right, and he obviously continued on in the weekend. But it's just a tough break for him, especially at this stage of his career. It's you don't recover the same way that you used to. That's for sure.
And that injury, I had a torn rotator cuff 2017, able to get through the Open. You can definitely you can do it, but there's just some things that you have no power. Like for me, it was I couldn't push horizontally. Like, so if you got me bench press, I had nothing. I couldn't do it. I could do pull-ups. I could do whatever else, but any sort of horizontal plane pressing, I was screwed. So he's in much better shape than I am. So hopefully it's something he can manage.
Yeah. Hopefully
he still said that he's getting ready for the 2026 season. So I think he feels like he has at least enough time to potentially.
He's pretty smart. He's pretty smart too. If you remember the year he broke through at the games, he qualified from the East Regional with a torn bicep, I believe. So that was when they had regionals Nate, I think, in 2017.
I think you're right.
So yes, he's obviously no stranger to having some of these things pop up and being able to kind of work through it smartly. So.
Then moving along. So Pat, hope you're doing well, man. Get back to 100%. We have, off-season competition. No, I shouldn't say off-season competitions. They're not non-games competitions. Well, at least one of them. Miami Wadapalooza is a non-games competition, but you could probably even say it's a games adjacent because they're having an open announcement there. But team invites are being set out for that, which is pretty cool to see. Some exciting teams of three that are trickling out there.
Yeah, and you do have. I mean, you have. I believe they're called the Yeti Girls, which is Danielle, Alex Kazan, Emily, the boys, Noah, Chandler, and Travis. Just a girls' weekend with Gabby, as you mentioned, Alexis Raptis and Paige Rogers, and then I think the Morning Chalk Up also had a list of some of the elite individuals, which Pat is on that. It includes Tudor and Austin and James Sprague and Yona, and then as well a bunch of people that made it through qualifiers as well, like Luca and Bill Leahy and a handful of. I'm trying to think on the women's side. Ellie Turner, I believe, made it on the women's side as well. So starting to shape up, starting to get into that mode. Although it feels like we should. I don't know, maybe just from years past, it should already be Wadapalooza time.
Yeah, it's funny.
I know it feels so weird.
That's why I almost slipped and said off season. It's not. And we've moved it to March. It's smack dab at the end of the Open.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been that kickoff event for so long.
Well, and even with online qualifiers for the season already happening, like NorCal, it kind of feels a little bit disjointed that we're not kicking off the unofficial start to the season with Wadapalooza.
Yeah.
Or even with the Open before people are doing the second part of the season, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then also speaking of other competitions, I'll throw this up there because I think this just got posted today, but this is from the Mayhem Classic. They've sent out their first round of invites. And listen, unsure whether or not all these people are going to show up. But man, on the women's side, this is who they have invited: Laurel Horvath, Danielle Brandon, Ariel Lowen, Tia Toomey, Alex Kazan, Gabby McGowa, Emma Lawson, Alexis Raptis, Maddie Surt, Emily Rolfe, Lucy Campbell, Olivia Kerstetter, Emma Tall, Danny Spiegel, Amy Kringle. Damn. Stacked. Men's side, listen to this: Adler, Ricky Garrard, Justin Medeiros, Krenikoff, Hopper, Jay Crouch, Vellner, Dallin Pepper, James Sprague, Yona Koski, Austin Hatfield, Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson, Sam Quant, Chandler Smith, and Colton Mertens.
Like that. If everybody says yes, whoa.
Yeah, that's and look, I think the Mayhem Classic is it's a great event. I loved being there last year. That's going to be a lot of fun. Again, a lot needs to be decided whether or not everyone's going to show up. But even if 80% of that field shows up, hold on to your butts.
Yeah. I mean, and they're still at the front of the line, right? As far as calendars concerned?
I think so.
in
there's
May?
April 17th and 19th. Yeah. So they're pretty early on.
So that's the first one after Wadapalooza.
So there's always,
because it goes Mayhem, Legends, Magic City. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's always an advantage with that, right? Like in the sanctionals era, Dubai wanted to be first because people could snag a guaranteed ticket early. And then if you do get that ticket, then your training takes a different focus instead of having to prep and re-go through those, peaks and valleys of trying to get geared up to earn your ticket. You have it. You can basically reset your training for the rest of the year and focus on a much longer run up to the games to be in tip-top shape.
Yeah. Okay, well, speaking of in-season events, semifinals, online qualifiers for NorCal Classic going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so just be aware of that. And here's a win for CrossFitters everywhere. And I don't like to delve into anything that's even remotely considered political on this show because no one wins. But there is a new food pyramid here put out by the federal government in the United States. And I think most CrossFitters look at that, regardless of your political affiliation, put that aside for a moment, look at that and be like, yeah, that's probably how it should be.
Yeah.
I've seen this before.
Yeah, exactly. This looks familiar. This is what I've been trying to tell all my friends.
Yeah.
So that is a win for, I think, people who are into fitness and want to see people get more healthy. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because that also impacts like what types of foods are being served at school and like extra curricular activities and things like that. So I think that this is a huge win, regardless of how your political affiliation is.
Agreed. Like, let's just all put that aside for a second and let's look at this as CrossFitters and just say, yeah, that is much better.
It's a win.
That is much better. And that's all I have to say about the food, about the food pyramid. So, okay, well, let's get into what the majority of the show is going to be here. And that is every year we like to sort of come up with our top 10 storylines that we're going to watch throughout the season. And then we'll check back in, as we move through the year. So I have come up with 10 here, moving from, I don't want to say least important to like to most important. They're all important. But I was just like, I don't know. I guess you could put importance on them. So number 10 for me, where will the Rogue Invitational be in 2026? We've had Columbus, Ohio. We've had Dell Diamond in Round Rock, Texas. We've had 2 great years in Aberdeen. So where are they going to go next? Is it coming back to the United States? Is it going to go someplace else? I don't know if that decision has been made or not yet, but it is just something that intrigues me because I think, all 3 locations that they have had their, own unique feels. Dell Diamond was fantastic. Because you had that sort of circus-like feel where you saw all this equipment that was out in the outfield. You had the Wheel of Pain, and then you had Motter Hill out there, and they had all this crazy stuff going on. Then plus the CrossFit event, and then you went to Aberdeen, which was, I think for a CrossFit event, I think that venue is perfect. Of some sort of fitness event, I should say. Like, it is just the way it's laid out, the size of the facility itself, it's perfect. And the crowd was fantastic. So just interested to see where they're going to go next. And I don't know if it'll come back to the States or if they're going to go someplace else, but yeah, that's my number 10 question.
I feel like they'll stay abroad.
You think so?
I think so. Just because between like having the strongman is 50% of the competition and having so much history, not just in Scotland, but in Europe as a whole. And the way that people get butts and seats in Europe, you can't really match it in the US. We have so many big events here that it's way more challenging. We see it every time. That I would be more surprised if they came back to the US and less if they stayed and just found another venue or country in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I hope it stays overseas just because, like, 1, the strongman element, and 2, I think we're starting to see just the value of getting over in that, like, Europe market.
Agreed.
Just the response every time someone shows up there is huge. And I think the US has had a stranglehold on live events for so long that it like continue to sprinkle some love over there. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's just, we don't need to spend more time on that. That's just a question I have, and we'll come back and check on that one if and when it gets answered. Okay. Number 9 for me, how will the in-person Masters qualifiers be received? This is something that Masters have been clamoring for a decade. We want to qualify in person. We want to, and now they are getting the chance to do that. And I'm very interested to see how they're organized and also how those athletes who we all know are very easily satisfied and never complain are going to feel after this is all done.
I was going to say there will be strongly worded emails regardless.
Yes, there will be.
Yes. I'm honestly more curious if, like, is this a system that we're going to see, or is this going to be the only year that Masters get this opportunity and then it just goes back?
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair question.
Because it does feel like a trial balloon, right? Like, is this feasible? Can we do this? Does it impact the event partners that much? Does it affect the end product in terms of like who qualifies and who has access to qualification too, right? Because if certain number of spots are allocated regardless, and in-person qualification just isn't either financially or geographically feasible for a good portion of the globe, I guess, then you're limiting a select demographic to only qualifying one way, right? And so you could argue that in some capacity that might not be fair to them. I hope that's not the case, because realistically, I would like to see more live competition for all the Masters. So I think you'll get a good feedback, hopefully, for the Masters demographic. That we always hear things like, "Hey, they have more expendable income."
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, they have a lot of resources to be able to make this happen. I hope that that's not the case, and I hope that this works in a very real way, where maybe there's an expansion of it, and you start to lean more heavy into live competition for sure.
Well, I also think too, including Masters, and it has the benefit of it is a good way to sell tickets and get butts and seats, because it is very much, Masters and teenagers is very much a family and friends type of thing, and so those people will travel, sell a few more tickets, and like you said, Tommy, I always think back to when we did the Masters games down in San Diego, and how there was a small vendor village there, but how multiple vendors ran out of merchandise.
Yeah.
When was this?
This was 2021 or 2020.
It technically wasn't. Yes. It technically wasn't Masters Games. It was the Legends Championship.
That's it. Legends Championship.
I remember you guys talking about that.
Yep. But yeah, and even like I try to think like, what are the good benefits beyond just competition too? Like, if you have a bunch of family and friends going, let's say they're used to only going to events that are Masters only, right? You have kids and people that are impressionable, and that all they see is like, quote unquote, and this is not fair to them, but I just see older people working out. Now they go to an event that's shared with other people, and now in person, when they're cheering on grandpa or uncle or mom or dad, then they see, Danielle, Brandon, Alex Kazan, Tia, James, Jason, Dallin, Justin, that whole crew, right? And now they're like, oh, actually, that's kind of cool. Like, it's there's like that old adage of like, if mom and dad do it, then it's not cool.
Yeah.
But as soon as they see someone else do it, then it's like, oh, this is awesome. And mom and dad are like, what the hell? Like, I think of that, like that level of influencing people to get inside of gyms and affiliates. And that's something you get when you have those like mixed division, in-person events.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 8. How will San Jose do as a host city for the games? And I'm a little biased. I mean, I know the city pretty well. Obviously, work here, live really close to San Jose. I think there's a lot of cool stuff about the way that where the SAP Center is, and in relation to downtown, and what's in downtown, and within walking distance, as far as restaurants, bars, things like that people can enjoy. Like it's pretty well situated to accommodate that type of thing. Whereas like if you want to go to the games, you go to the games, you get out of the SAP Center, you walk 3 blocks, you're in the heart of downtown where all the great places to eat are, bars, coffee shops, everything a CrossFitter could want is right there. What I'm a little unsure about is just like the cost, because it is more expensive here. It's the 4th most unaffordable place to live in the world.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah. That's according to the Silicon Valley Pain Index that's put out by San Jose State University. So there's that. It's pretty easy to fly in to get here, because you can go to San Francisco and drive. You can go to Oakland and drive. You can, if you're really bougie, you can go to Monterey and drive over. But there's a lot of peripheral, but with that, there's a lot of peripheral things that you can do while you're here. Monterey is really close. The ranch is here. And that's the other question, I think, dovetailing off of this, is that will there be any twists, and will the ranch be involved? And I think it's probably, I'd be shocked if it weren't.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of options. Like you said, I kind of fit in that same category. Like the Central California native of me thinks, there's a lot of good stuff here, but a lot of that is tied to my personal experience and like how I've grown up here. So I have hope for that. And part of that is also just like, I want to share our home with people, like you want people to appreciate our home the way we do. The other part of it though is like, but does everybody want to, like, there's a reason why not everyone lives in the same house that we do, right? Like everyone decorates their own home differently and different strokes. But I worry about the affordability. I worry about getting swallowed up in kind of the broader, I don't want to say rat race, but like just the city sprawl of Silicon Valley, right? Where you lose a little bit of the character of a host city, like truly being the host city and not just a city that has the event for that weekend and then just kind of shuffles along, similar to a little bit of what LA was for some people. But then again, I also think like destination spot, you look everything that's in the area. You go Monterey, Big Sur, Carmel, you go San Francisco, Napa, wine country, Sonoma, you go Yosemite, Tahoe,
Santa Cruz. Yeah.
You go original affiliate ranch, you go down to San Luis Obispo, you go, Pismo. There's a ton of like really cool places you have access to that are within a couple hours drive, that you could, shoehorn into that trip. So I think there's a lot of potential pros and a lot of potential cons depending on how you approach this trip. And I guess with that in mind, really just we kind of have to wait and see to some extent and try and pitch the pros, right? Like make sure people are aware of what they can do here.
Yeah. I mean, CrossFit did say that they want it to very much feel like that fitness festival environment. So I'm curious to see how they execute on that. Like, are we going to have some kind of block party close to the venue? What outside things can people do? Like I always think of Madison because to me that was the best host city. Granted, I had never been to like the tennis stadium when the games were originally there or formerly there, but you think of like the local eateries that are getting behind them and like this is a CrossFit menu, it was designed by this training camp or inspired by this athlete. Like I really want to see the city get behind so that when you're there you feel like you're at a CrossFit event, and I'm curious to see how that comes to fruition.
Yeah, there's definitely the space to make that happen there. Yeah, and I think what people are really going to enjoy is that you literally get out and you can walk. I mean, there's a Whole Foods within walking distance. Like I've told that place.
We love that.
Staff the hell up. Like you got to know. I hope they know that that's coming because you're, get ready. You can walk to Whole Foods and then you can walk the other way and you're at bars and great restaurants, coffee shops, like all that stuff is there. And I wasn't in Fort Worth and I wasn't in Albany. I don't know if that was the case there, but that is definitely going to be the case here. There's a lot of great stuff within walking distance. So you can park once and then have at it. Parking might be an issue too, but anyway. Okay.
Albany, you could kind of walk. You could definitely walk around from the venue, but the problem was that everything was closed.
Yeah,
or they had one employee.
You want to walk? I heard there was some. Maybe some sketchiness.
I live in Syracuse. I am part of the sketchiness. Okay. So
yeah, Lauren keeps that thing on her.
Sketch accused.
We're made different here.
Okay, number 7. What will open registration look like? And the sort of the sub 7A to this is what are we calling success? Because back in the day, there was definitely like you got to have sort of a gigantic increase for this to be successful because we just got used to it year after year after year. Then things tailed off and then things tailed off again and they kind of build back up. So if you get the same amount as you did last year, is that success? If you get slightly, as if it's like a 3% increase, is that success? And I think right now, any increase you'd have to look at as being successful.
I think that there'll be increase in numbers because you had a lot of people last year who were still on the fence and a lot of people that wanted to wait and see. And I think another big driving factor of why open registration will increase from last year is bringing back quarterfinals and having the top 25%, because you're giving so many people in your everyday CrossFit classes that carrot. It just comes down to, okay, what is the execution from those affiliates? Are they promoting it? Are they trying to get people behind it? And why is this going to help your fitness or make our community that much tighter by people doing this and getting behind and rallying together?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's look at a couple things, right? Open registration 2025 dropped about 32%, going from in the neighborhood of 350,000, 343, I think was around the number, down to 233,000.
This is last year, 233 last year.
Last year was 233,000, which was, the lowest total since 2014. You obviously want to see some sort of increase. I think for them, 275 is probably success.
Yeah.
Right. That's not quite 20%.
That would be huge. A 20% increase would be massive.
You look at 15% is probably around that, right? Because you cut, because again, but you look at it in perspective, right? We lost 32% like that. If we can claw some of that back, like half of that back,
yeah.
In terms of percentage wise relative in that scenario.
Well, that's good. And put a pin in that, because that's actually there's a question that we're going to ask here in a little bit that we'll be watching that I will play into this.
Yeah. But in terms of more specifically, what will open registration look like? To me, it's, all right, well, what are the reasons why people would sign up if they haven't been? And what will be the reason that people continue to filter out if the trend continues, right? Because if we're going to reverse the trend, you're going to have to pull some people back. I just don't know if that many new people are being exposed to the sport in a way that will drive that number above what it is. I could be wrong, but that's just kind of my sense of it. The other part is like, all right, well, if the trend is going to continue, what's causing people to leave? So, like, we'll start with that. Like, why do you think people would not sign up for the Open? General distaste with HQ and their decision making?
I think there's some people that, yes, that would be a factor. But I also think there's other people. Like, I just look at the people who go to my gym and who are in class on a daily basis, who have no clue about the sport, who have no clue about any of that. They don't care, right? They're not competitive. I think they're just like, wait, I got to pay $20 and I'm going to do all this stuff. And yeah, I know I'm just here to work out and have a good time and just be fit. I don't really want to compete. I think that's probably the most common reason. I don't think it has to do anything with sort of any sort of animosity towards CrossFit HQ. I just some people just aren't interested in doing that. And that's okay. That's fine.
So for me, I would categorize that under the area of like general apathy.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, that represents, and this is not necessarily like, casting stones, if you will, but like, to me, that's an opportunity for CrossFit, typically for CrossFit HQ, to engage those type of people so that they want to be involved. Right. And I feel like that's what happened in the past and it's going to look different now because it's a different landscape, but like, that was always the goal. How do we engage people in a way that makes them want to sign up for the Open and want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
And if more and more people are like, I'm not engaged, or CrossFit isn't engaging affiliates in a way that makes them want to turn to their members and be like, let's sign up for this, let's do this, then that's one of the things where there's a gap in where CrossFit could make some strides to improve better, improve in a real way. I also am like, just like, is there just like a natural slow bleed that is just going to continue after everything that's transpired over the last 5 to 7 years? Is that seal just broken forever and you can never quite get that seal right again?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point about the affiliate level too, because I think a lot of it does have to do with how does your affiliate do a Friday Night Lights? Do they make events around this? And I think that encourages more people to sign up because they get to be part of that whole thing, right? But if it's if affiliates aren't promoting it and for whatever reason they might not choose to make a big deal out of it, doesn't matter. But if they aren't engaging with their members and explaining like how fun this is and how cool it can be, and people don't sign up, like you can't put that on CrossFit HQ. Like you can't. That's not their fault.
I I mean, you can, right?
I don't know.
It's because it's CrossFit's competition.
Sure,
right?
But yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. I think there's both. They can only do so much, and then there also has to be engagement at the affiliate level too to drive that.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's why I feel like. Sorry, go ahead, Tommy.
I was going to say, we'll swap the Open as an event to any sort of product, right? Like, if it's CrossFit's product, right, that they're providing, and they want people to buy, and their main outlet, the affiliates are the stores for that. And so, if you're not promoting it to the stores, and the stores don't feel motivated to promote that to their customers, then there's ownership on both sides.
That's a good point.
Because to some extent, CrossFit could do everything. Mm-hmm. They could be throwing the kitchen sink at it, and then the affiliates are just not interested. But I don't necessarily think that's the case.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it comes down to how much buy-in does the specific affiliate and the coaching staff have to sign up for the Open. Because I think about when I used to coach CrossFit, and I would have my laptop sitting on the desk as soon as you walk in. So when my class was coming in, I would have the link pulled up. We would talk about the Open, why it's so good to have all of that data throughout the year, see your improvement. Oh my God, remember when you were a scaled athlete? Now you get to do your first RX one, and you have the data to show that. I think that, like, to me, I think it really comes down to the coaches in each affiliate and how they're promoting it. And yeah, are they having a Friday night lights? Are they doing like teams, intramurals? Yeah. That's always a lot of fun. Are there giveaways? I know affiliates that, okay, the team that wins the Open over the course of however many weeks, this is probably back when it was 5 weeks, but okay, they all get a gift card to Starbucks or something like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like really creating the events inside the affiliate. And yes, I do think, of course, CrossFit HQ is responsible to an extent, because what is it going to take to get the buy-in from the specific affiliates to then tell your everyday people, who I would say most of the members at my gym, they're not consuming all of the stuff that we're consuming. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, you're lucky if they tie their shoes in class. You're like, okay, like, here we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, well, I think the Open announcements last year helped with that. Like, I really liked what they did with the announcements last year. I thought they finally got back on track to what they're supposed to be and the hype that they're supposed to provide. So that helps too. But whenever, whether it's a like our gym has a competition called the Fall Flex Off. And anytime I go to that and I see people having a great time, I'm like, God, I wish I would have signed up for this.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, right?
FOMO. It's exactly. A powerful motivator.
Yeah.
But also, and if you take out all the other factors that go into making the decision as to whether or not you should sign up, I do think at its core, there is value in an everyday athlete signing up for the Open to see where their fitness is. Mm-hmm. I think there is a benefit to every person that walks in the gym in some capacity. Mm-hmm. I also think that there is a benefit, absent of all these other factors that do matter, for an affiliate to engage with their clientele in a unique way through the Open, right? And using that avenue, right? Through the intramurals and stuff like that. Now, those aren't the only reasons. Ultimately, there's a whole mess of other factors that go into why people might sign up and why people may or may not do it. But I do think at a core level that the benefit is there.
Yeah.
So how do you make it? How does CrossFit make it so that is the biggest weighing factor in for all these people, right? And it's funny. I think like John Woolley has been posting some really engaging stuff online lately.
Agreed.
Really, like I thought, really, he's like he should get. He's an early PR for me, and just this week in terms of like the way he's been engaging at a different level, and I think has been keeping it very respectful and very open. But like I think part of it too is like he brings up some elements of like being political or not, and how to like we thread that needle right in a way that ultimately keeps people engaged and doesn't. And I don't know. I think that's one of the reasons why. Like, I think that if we can kind of get back to that like area of just focusing on the fitness and having reason to be able to focus on that and not on other things, then that'll benefit for sure.
All right, moving on to number 6. Will we have a repeat men's champion at the games? We are in a streak of now 3 different champions over the last 3 years. We had Adler. Then we had Yeah, then we had Sprague,
James,
and then Hopper. And this is the first time we've had 3 different champions in 3 years since 14, 15, and 16. Right? Froning, Smith, Fraser.
So when you say repeat, you mean over a career or back to back?
Over a career.
Oh.
Yeah. So will Hopper win again? I'm not saying will Sprague win again. Will Adler win another one?
Will Justin win?
Will Justin win another one? Right? Like we're in this really cool area with the men that we haven't been in 10 years. And even then it was like, once Fraser won, like you knew, okay,
it's done.
We won't be here a while,
Yeah.
Same with Tia. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with Tia on the women's side. Absolutely. And now, I mean, this is no offense to Jason Hopper, and the men's field is so even. You're going to have to, in order to get to that Fraser status to where it's like, yeah, this guy's going to win as many as he wants. You're going to have to be dominant, and I don't think that's there yet.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how long this streak might continue.
So if we're gonna play I'll just break it down very quickly. If we're with that definition, we're basically banking on, if you're gonna say there won't be a repeat, you're banking on what? Ricky, Dallin,
somebody else,
Hatfield, maybe
Roman.
Jake Crouch, Roman, really, realistically, versus. It almost feels like an Avengers Civil War.
Yeah, it is. It's tough because I see
Jason, James, Justin, Jeff, all the J's. Wow, that's kind of weird. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's tough,
right?
I mean, I don't know if I have an answer right now.
I don't. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have to let this play out for a while before we. But in someone
we
else,
got to get some more data.
Get more data. Yeah. But it's gonna be fun to watch because. We got really used to a period where you knew who the winner was going to be. And now we're not in that, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. So, all right. We don't need to spend a lot of time on that one, but that's one that I had. Number 5. Okay. Will another competitive outlet emerge? And the reason I say that, the reason I put that out there is because last year's World Fitness Project, they saw an opportunity. Does someone else see an opportunity to jump in here and be like, hey, I'm going to provide this sort of series of events where we can make money? Don't know if it's going to happen, but it seems like this sport and this community is in a place to where people are getting more adventurous in wanting to jump in and trying to see what they can do. Because I don't think anybody has a stranglehold on anything right now.
Yeah. And would you even wrap something like High Rocks in there? Because
you know what? Yeah, I would. Yes, because I think that there's a lot of overlap. I know plenty of CrossFitters from my gym who went and did a High Rocks event, right? So anything that is, so it doesn't necessarily have, that's a good point. It doesn't necessarily have to be just a ripoff of CrossFit, but it's some other sort of functional fitness thing that shows up in the space that tries to take a little bit away from High Rocks, tries to take a little bit away from CrossFit, something like that. Because like I said, there's no real juggernaut that people are afraid to take on right now.
Yeah. I would, my instinct is that there will be attempts, but I don't know if another one will necessarily emerge at the level that we've seen in the last couple of years. Because I consider High Rocks having emerged. I think at least finishing on the high that WFP did for sure, like putting on 3 big events around the globe and resetting for another year. Yeah. I don't know if anyone is going to have that type of like presence immediately. Because you even think like Red Bull starting to do some stuff.
Yeah, that was going to be I was going to bring that up. They had that. So do they dip in a little bit more?
Maybe.
Who knows? But to your point, Tommy, to really like make a splash, it's going to take a lot of resources and a lot of money that I don't know if is out there, but I'm really interested to see if anyone says, hey, why don't we try this?
Well,
and buy-in from competitors that will drive people to watch or attend. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Red Bull has the funds, but they are so dynamic as a company that I think they just like doing a bunch of different stuff. You know?
Yeah. All right. Let's go to number 4 because I think we can spend some our next 2 we can spend some time on. Number 4, what will year 2 of the World Fitness Project look like? talked a little bit about this on the last episode. They want to go back to Copenhagen for the finals. What lessons did they learn from their first 3 tour stops in 2025 that they can improve on for 2026? Will there be more tour stops? Will more athletes try to go to that side of the house and earn their pro card and make some money during their events? Like, what, if anything, changes? Do they bring on more partnerships? Do they have more sponsors? Like, what is that going to look like?
Do we know when their pros are finalized?
I mean, the invites, who's being invited has been finalized.
Sure. But go ahead.
If people accept their pro card and use it is a different story. But you go, if you go to the website and you look at the tour standings leaderboard, the top 20 get the pro card invite. I'm sure there's a few people that will decline it, in which case it will be backfilled down that same leaderboard. So you can reasonably assume anywhere from 20 to 23 people, maybe 24, 25 tops, but we'll...
Who's got the wind chimes?
Oh, that's me. Sorry. That's someone showing up at the front door.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm does it grow? Is there some sort of, I don't know, broadcast deal that they're able to secure to where they can maybe after the fact get on, post-production shows like we saw with the Rogue Invitational over the holidays? World Strongest Man.
Will they go somewhere else abroad other than Europe?
Yeah. And I'm really interested to see, now that they have 1 year under their belts, do more athletes who have a chance of making money over there take a look at it and say, I think I want to give this a try.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got some big names in there. Do more follow? Yeah. So, okay. Number 3, and this is a big one for me. I probably could have put this at number 1, but who, if anyone, who just did World Fitness Project will return to the game side of the things? And this specifically, I think the sub question to this 3A, will Laura Horvath come back? Because now that Tia's not competing, this is an opportunity, clearly for Laura, who has shown that she's the best after Tia. Does she make her way back? And I don't know, is 1 year enough for some of the people that decided, you know what, I can't do this. I'm going to go do this. I don't agree with what's going on over there. Is 1 year enough for that beef to go away to where they're like, yeah, I'm fine with trying this again. I want to get back in the games. I've moved on and I've whatever, but I don't know. Cause that is going to affect a lot in this season, because last year there was, each side went to their corners, and people, like, if you did World Fitness Project and you didn't do the CrossFit Games and you were, betraying the CrossFit Game, all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
Does that start to heal at all? Or do the same people who decided not to do the CrossFit Games and just do World Fitness Project do the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to say. If you extend it beyond Laura, you had people like Emma Tall, Emma Lawson. You had Pat Vellner,
Chandler Smith, right?
Chandler Smith. Noah. I don't know. Like, I think, like, people, I have such high regard for people like Chandler and Pat that I feel like they're very comfortable in their decision, to where if they make that decision, I don't think they feel the same pressure to, like, change their mind.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
They seem very like comfortable in their own skin and their ability to make a decision based off, what they feel is right for them. I think Laura is very much like that too. I don't necessarily get the sense that she's going to, but who knows? It could change.
It really I think right now, if I had to make a bet, I'd say she's not.
Same.
I agree.
Yeah. Knowing that, like, hey, T is going to be out for a while. I've got Rogue. I've got, potentially Wadapalooza. I've got World Fitness Project 3 events. I can win this season there. I know I can. I can make a solid living with that, and have all those be big ticket opportunities for my sponsors, and keep grooving that way. So
I think the other question is if some of those athletes do come back, what's the reaction?
The reaction from who?
From for lack of a better term, the CrossFit Games side.
I mean, the biggest thing is, why does it matter for me?
Yeah.
Right. Like if you believe in everybody's right to be able to choose what's best for themselves, then why does it matter?
No, I agree with you. Like, I'm just saying, like, given what happened the first round here and some of the stuff that was thrown around.
And part of that is like, why should CrossFit care? Like I say that kind of almost in a rhetorical way of like, CrossFit should not care.
No, agreed. Yeah,
and because if they do, then it gets back to that same old like, ivory tower tribalistic approach that I think has hampered them in the past. And it gets back to like, oh, we're still doing the same like lunchroom drama stuff.
Agreed.
High school lunchroom drama.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out. If anyone comes back, or if it's just the same thing and people are just accepted it and we
agreed.
There's no more like, how dare you go to that side, or how dare you, that type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting into number 2. Will there be a title sponsor for the CrossFit Games?
In the same in the same sense as what we're used to?
Yes. Yeah. Does someone finally come back in and say, yeah, I'm going to be the title sponsor. We want to do this. Because, they obviously have had apparel sponsors. They've had that kind of stuff, but they have not had a title sponsor.
I think it depends on a lot. I think it depends on what we see from open registration and quarterfinals. I think it depends on how well those events are attended. I think it depends what is the price point and how does that reflect the era that we're in right now. I would bet that there's not one major title sponsor this year. I think that we'll have at least another year of maybe a collective group, maybe like 3 second-tier sponsors. Because also like the ecosystem has just changed so much. Like so many brands that were like only in the CrossFit space, they're diversifying now because it's just the way it is. That's not a great answer. It's just the way it is, but you know what I mean? I think that, again, a lot of people are waiting and seeing. They're waiting to get metrics on this or that, or is CrossFit going to sell? Who's it going to sell to? And I think that we have a lot of questions before we have that answer.
Yeah.
I mean, for the sports sake, I really hope so, and I hope that whatever adjustments that get made, if the company doesn't sell, they're able to find a way to try and lure some big name folks in. But it goes back to some of the discussions we've had in the past, is that like, how many brands exist right now that have a significant enough investment in the space can really be that lead dog, right?
Yeah. No,
I wonder. Obviously, we know with Tier, they very much stayed with Wodapalooza Miami and Wodapalooza SoCal, and were they any type of sponsor for the games ever?
I don't think
I don't think so. I'm curious to see if Jim Reapers takes a different approach, because since they're the title sponsor for Wodapalooza Miami, and I would assume SoCal as well, do they also want to be involved with the CrossFit Games? I don't know if they necessarily would need to, but it would be interesting to see.
Yeah. I think regardless, like this is this is something that Cross has got to figure out. How do we get a major sponsor as the title sponsor for the games? Not only get them, but then keep them over some time. Because to Tommy's point, best thing for the sport. But I don't know. I don't know if that brand is out there right now. I don't know, but to be continued. Which,
like, I'm even just like thinking, right? Like, I don't know if like Tier would want to do it at this point.
Yeah, and I remember people. Nike should just call it Nike. Get Nike. Why would they? Why would they need to do it? They're just Nike's just fine. Because back in 2011, it made sense for Reebok because they were like, they saw this, no one had really targeted this consumer group. I mean, Tommy, I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I saw the Nano ones, those bright yellow shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite.
And they had CrossFit on them. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. There's a shoe that has that is like branded for me that I can wear and show that it was so freaking cool. And they got in early because no one had tapped into this. And now think like the deluge of just people that jumped into the space and everyone making shoes and apparel and equipment. And that didn't exist. And that's why it was smart for Reebok because they were the first ones in to take advantage of that, that untapped consumer group. But now it has been oversaturated a little bit, and no one is that 800-pound gorilla that's like, no, we're going to drop this money and we're going to show everybody that we're it's us.
But what brands are like have deep enough wallets to fund that and also like need the recognition in the CrossFit space? I feel like the ones that want and need the recognition probably don't have deep enough pockets to flip the bill.
Yep.
Or they just don't have a desire. Like I think I look at a great example, like a company like Rad. They're very clear in like who they are, and they know their lane and where they operate and how they want to operate. And they're totally okay being like guerrilla marketing, pop up, doing cool stuff on the side, kind of almost underground type like skate scene where you're like, where you're looking at like flyers and trying to figure out where they're going to be, like, and doing special drops. Like that's perfect for them. That fits their identity, and it's really cultivated like a culture around the brand. I like Adidas can do it. Obviously, they're putting money into the space with their shoes. But they're also in with WFP, and I don't know where like if they've committed money there, then like does that take away from their ability to be the big dog there? Red Bull again, same thing, but like again, they have an outlet in the space right now with WFP, and is that what they're committed to?
What about a company like Rain?
Yeah, but
maybe.
I mean, if I'm
I
Rain,
don't know. I just feel like a ton of CrossFit athletes are sponsored by them. That's why I think of that.
If I'm Rain, I look at the response to when Monster got involved. And if you have any associations with brands or companies that the CrossFit community does not like, then
torches and pitchforks, man.
The torches and pitchforks come out.
Never forget.
Yeah. So again, it comes back to like, all right, well, who do you look at? I mean, look at the group that bought Noble. They have associations with like Body Armor. You'd have to lure one of these big brands out and over into the space, and maybe do something. Maybe try to rerun the playbook of Reebok. Like, hey, maybe if we could create like a new product line that we're trying to get into the functional fitness space and shoehorn it in with our investment in the CrossFit space, maybe. But a lot of times that stuff gets snuffed out too.
All right. Well, let's get that. This is going to bring us to number one. No shock here. Will CrossFit sell? And then if not, if it doesn't, will there be changes? Like what's going to happen if it doesn't? The more I think about this and the more I talk to people, I don't know if it is going to sell, but I do think there are going to be some changes.
Yeah, I agree.
With what?
You think there'll be changes if it does not sell?
Yes, I think there's going to be changes regardless. And I don't know if they're trying to bring on, I don't know if they look at this like, hey, we got to bring on an investment partner. And then if they do, and that partner is like the majority, like that most likely is going to trigger some changes because they're going to want to, they're the majority partner. They're going to want to run things their way. But I don't know if an outright sale is going to happen anymore. I don't know.
It's crazy because everything, or every which way the tea leaves read was pointing towards a sale like a few months ago, and now it just seems like it was all smoke and mirrors, right? Like, all the potential buyers are now gone. Did you see Mastrov bought?
I did see that.
24-hour
I
fitness?
did, and I did see that. And part of me is I don't know if Diebner's involved in that, but if he is, there is part. I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but part of me is wondering if Diebner's involved because of what happened to him. If he's like, okay, I'm just going to go offer some functional fitness stuff over here with 24-hour. Now, they don't have to call it CrossFit, just like Orange Theory doesn't CrossFit, but Orange Theory and places like that have taken a bite out of CrossFit affiliates, and to be like, all I got to do is offer something that keeps people from going into the doors of a CrossFit establishment.
Yeah,
that's a discussion for another time. But I don't know if Dieter's involved with that.
That's a whole
but I
other.
did see
that's a can of worms.
That Mastrov,
Pandora's
who
box
was
has been open.
because Mastrov was a big part of the money that was behind that alleged bid from Diebner that fell through, and now they bought 24 Hour Fitness back. So we'll see. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. I don't know. I'm unsure right now if it was going to sell. If you asked me this a year ago, I'd be like, oh yes, they're going to sell this. Now I'm given everything everyone I've talked to and things that have been said to me, I just don't know. I do think there are going to be changes though.
I mean, regardless, there has to be, right? Like something needs to change in order for there to be growth. You can't just stay the course.
Sure.
And some of those changes are already happening, right? Like we got the rule book super early. We got a bunch of dates super early. Where the open announcements were going to be. Like some of those changes that we have been asking for, and not necessarily just the three of us, the community, we have already seen some of those changes, which is encouraging. It's just, okay, if a new owner comes in, what is that going to do to the changes or the outline that CrossFit currently has in place? Do they just wipe their game plan? Can they collaborate together? So I'll be curious to see.
Yeah. Well, I don't think let's say by some miracle, there's a sale and it happens in like a week. Well, they're not going to change. You can't change the season because all those events are more or less locked in, right? So the season nothing's going to change there. But what they can do is say, okay, we're going through this year in 2026, 2027. This is how things are going to work, and we have an eye towards that. And then you can also change your C-suite. You can change people on the board. Like that stuff can change.
Yeah,
you can change leadership for sure.
Sure. Now, I don't know if specifically if that's going to happen.
Right, because even like changing leadership in the middle of a season,
exactly.
I don't like even if they feel like certain people have to go, I don't know that doing it in the middle of the season is the best interest anyways.
Agreed. Yeah, it's interesting to see how this is all going to play out. But that continues to be, I think it was our number one question last year going into the season. It's going to be it's again the number one question going into this year.
Well, I also think that's why I think some of the early announcements and a lot of putting stuff out there now has almost been a little bit of defense by playing offense by people on CrossFit side, right? Like it almost kind of bakes their position and their need into for whatever regime or ownership changes, right? It's like, well, hey, we already announced this and I'm the one that organized it, or I'm the one that does this. You need me for that, right?
Yeah, I think there's probably some truth to that, but I don't know. We'll continue, like everyone else, continue to just pay attention to it. But as I have now learned, until CrossFit actually makes the official announcement, or Berkshire actually says in an official press release, this has happened, everything you got to take with a grain of salt. It's not set in stone. So, okay.
I don't believe anything till the ink is dry.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I give us a bonus question?
Yeah.
I thought about it as we were doing
Bonus question.
Little asterisk. What will the prize purses look like next year at the games?
That's a good one. I think that goes back
and it kind of goes hand in hand with is there a title sponsor? Is it one?
Open registration, title sponsor. How much do they spend during the quarterfinals? Like all that stuff. What kind of broadcasts do they want to have? That's all going to chew away at that budget.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just even if registration stays the same, it seems like their expenditures are going up to some capacity, and that just means that the prize purse is going to go down. Unless they can work some other revenue streams into the prize purse that we're not aware of.
Well, they did bring back quarterfinals this year, which they didn't have last year, which was a revenue stream that they cut off. So that'll help.
Yeah, that'll help.
So that's a good question, though. That's when will that be announced?
Yeah, well, because I mean, some athletes have been very open, right? Like they're doing the game season because of because it still presents a good financial opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And if that becomes less and less so.
Yeah. Good question. That's a good bonus question. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm going to put that on our sheet as we go through the season. I'll put that as the subcategory of I guess, title sponsor. That'll be
as we start getting some answers here.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Any community support we need to get to? I didn't get any. While we're looking, if you guys have something that you want to get the word out on, we're happy to help out with that. You can hit us up on our Talking Elite Fitness Instagram account, our individual Instagram accounts. Send us as many details as you possibly can, because we want to make sure we're sending people to the right spot to get that help that you need. But always happy to, whatever you got going on, people need help, whatever's going, fundraiser, happy to get the word out. So hit us up. PRs and no reps. Who's got a no rep?
I have a no rep.
Oh God.
And I'm putting it as a no rep because it's honestly just really sad.
Okay.
Noah Olson.
No, don't say this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Max is in doggy heaven.
Oh, that was my no rep too.
All right. I'm so sorry.
Squeeze your dogs, your cats, your furry friends, your animals a little tighter. I think he said Max was 12. I think.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, heart just goes out to him and their family. Sean, I know you know what it's like to lose a dog in it.
Yeah. That ain't
not
fun.
easy.
No, they are part of your families, and Max was certainly loved by a lot of people, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that was, our hearts go out to Noah and Joanne and their family, because it was always one of the things I was most excited about whenever we would go to Wodapalooza, is at some point you'd bump into Noah and Max, whether it was going over, here over in Wynwood, grabbing coffee or something like that, or at an event, or at a gym activation, or, if you trained over at Peak, any of those opportunities. It was always such like a cool, just, one of those regular things that you do at these events. And it's like visiting your favorite coffee shop or your favorite restaurant at a place when you go every year. And like Max was always just a big part of it. Anytime you would go into Miami, and along with Noah, and he was such a good boy, and just such a fun dog to have around too. And you know why, like, he was such a big part of Noah and Joanne's lives. Like, I kind of spoke with Noah a little bit before he left the WFP event, and it was just like, he's like, if you look at who I was when I got Max and who I am now, is like I became an adult, and all of my major life things have happened with him. And that's, you feel for that, and it never seems like enough time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we want to follow that up with PRs, or if we just want to leave it at that. I don't like to end on a sad note, but I think if we just we'll just PR dogs in general and pets.
Yeah. We'll do that. I do have a good one.
All right, go for it.
I do. You know her as well, because she has been a coach. I don't know if she still coaches there, but Sharday.
Yeah.
My friend Sharday, her and my good buddy JD, they had their baby.
Oh, congratulations.
In between the Christmas and New Year's holiday. So
that's something worth. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. They had their baby girl, beautiful, healthy baby girl. Mama and baby are healthy, and I'm super stoked for them. So always celebrate new life from good people.
Yeah. All right. Any other ones? I really don't. Here's what I'll PR. I'm going to PR this weekend. It's a wild card weekend in the NFL, which is one of the best sports weekends. Kick it off on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time as my Los Angeles Rams venture forth into Charlotte, North Carolina to take on the Panthers.
Woohoo!
So you know where you will be able to find me at that time, right in front of a television. So wild card weekend, man. It is like a mini version of the first round of the NCAA tournament.
It really is. Okay, I was talking to someone how it's nice to have the Saturday game, because by come Monday you've had multiple games to either celebrate or wash away the sting of defeat at that point.
This is one where the 24-hour rule is tough to be in effect. It's like when my team loses in the playoffs, it's like, that almost stings. It's more of a 48, 72-hour rule. But yeah, it'll be. I love wild card weekend, man. It's the best. Lauren, you got a PR?
as I look at my 2 dogs, I'm going to just PR dogs in general. They make life better.
They do. All right.
I wish they lived forever.
Yep. It's not fun. Oh, anyway, just heart goes out to Noah and his family, and I'm just really sorry to hear about Max. So shout out to Max. Doggy heaven, man. You're a great dog.
Love Max.
Yeah. Okay, that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back soon. For Lauren Khalil and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other. Be better. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Like a kiss at the start of a first date. If it's good, it's good. I don't want to wait. When the feeling's right, I'm taking it.